All right, let's talk about type 2 diabetes. It's one of the biggest health challenges we're facing today, right? A global problem that just keeps growing. And for so long, we've pointed the finger at the usual suspects: diet, exercise, our genes. But what if there's been a secret accomplice, a key player in this whole crisis that we've totally missed, hiding, well, not under our noses, but literally deep inside our gut? Okay, let's dive into this.
And the scale of this is just mind-blowing. Get this. Right now, over 500 million people around the globe are living with type 2 diabetes. This is so much more than a health statistic. It's a huge economic and social weight, and honestly, the numbers just keep on climbing.
So, that really brings us to the big mystery we're unpacking here. What if our whole investigation into diabetes has been missing a primary suspect? A suspect that's a part of every single one of us, an entire living world that shapes our health in ways we are only just, and I mean just, beginning to figure out.
And that new suspect? It's the gut microbiome. Yeah. It's not just some hitchhiker along for the ride. Scientists are now realizing it's a crucial character in this story, an active participant in our metabolic health.
I mean, just think about this for a second. You actually have more microbial cells in your body than you have human cells. It's wild. This massive community of bacteria, fungi, and viruses, it basically functions like a hidden organ. It's digesting our food, it's training our immune system, and, as we're now finding out, it's playing a huge role in diseases like type 2 diabetes.
So how in the world does this internal ecosystem actually contribute to diabetes? Well, the research points to a very specific location. It all starts at what you could call the scene of the crime, the lining of our intestines. This is where that critical wall between us and the outside world can start to break down.
Okay, so how does this actually happen? This slide lays it out perfectly, like a set of dominoes falling. First, your gut bacteria get out of whack. The technical term for that is dysbiosis. Now, this imbalance makes the wall of your intestine weaker, and then you get a leak. Nasty bacterial toxins, one's called LPS for short, they slip through that weakened wall and get into your bloodstream. This sets off this low-level, constant inflammation all over your body. And that inflammation, that's what eventually leads straight to insulin resistance, which is, the very definition of type 2 diabetes.
In any good detective story, you need hard evidence. And in this case, the evidence is coming in the form of chemical signals or metabolites that are produced by our gut microbes. They're leaving behind a trail of chemical fingerprints all over our metabolism. First up, we've got the good guys, short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs. When your friendly gut bacteria munch on dietary fiber, they produce these amazing little compounds, things like butyrate. They're basically the superfood for our colon cells, they make the gut barrier stronger, and they fight inflammation. They're a really big deal.
Next in the evidence locker, we have bile acids. Now, our liver makes these to help us digest fat, but that's not where the story ends. Our gut bacteria get a hold of them and chemically tweak them, turning them into these incredibly complex signaling molecules. They literally talk to our cells, and they influence everything from blood sugar control to how we store fat. And then there are the branched-chain amino acids, or BCAAs. Now, we need these for building protein, totally essential. But here's the thing. Study after study shows that people with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes have way too many BCAAs floating around in their blood. And that excess? It's been linked directly back to an unbalanced gut.
And this table just sums it all up so clearly. In people with type 2 diabetes, there's this really consistent metabolic signature. Those good guy SCFAs, they're down. The intricate signaling from bile acids, it's all messed up. And those BCAAs that can cause problems, they are way, way up. See, this isn't just a coincidence. It's a clear pattern pointing right back to the gut.
So if these metabolites are the fingerprints, then who are the actual suspects? Come on, let's take a look at the lineup. It's time to profile some of the key bacterial players that science has put a spotlight on.
So over on the left, we've got our heroes, the protective strains. You've got Faecalibacterium prausnitzia, which is famous for making that awesome SCFA, butyrate, and Akkermansium mucinifila, which is a superstar at keeping that gut lining healthy. Then on the right, you see the bacteria that are consistently found in higher numbers in people with T2DM. These guys can be trouble, potentially contributing to that chronic low-grade inflammation we were just talking about. So here's the key takeaway. It's not just about having bacteria. It's about having the right kinds of bacteria in the right balance. The evidence is getting really strong that having fewer of these protective species, like Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, is a major risk factor. It's like taking away a critical layer of our metabolic armor.
Okay, now we get to the really exciting part. See, unlike your human genes, which are pretty much set in stone, your gut microbiome is not. It's dynamic. It can change, which means we actually have the power to step in and rewrite our own gut story.
And the tools we have ranged from the pretty simple to the really complex. I mean, high-fiber diets are basically food for our good gut bugs. Probiotics and prebiotics can help introduce and support the helpful species. Then you have things like fecal microbiota transplantation, which is a bit more intense, but it's being looked at for metabolic issues. And maybe the most surprising of all, some of the drugs we're already using.
This is just fascinating. Metformin is pretty much the most prescribed drug for type 2 diabetes on the planet, and for decades we thought we knew exactly how it worked. Well, it turns out one of its main jobs is changing the gut microbiome. It specifically boosts the levels of good guys like Akkermansia muciniphila, the exact same bacteria that helps keep our gut barrier strong. The drug was working on our main suspect this whole time, and we barely even knew it.
So what does all this mean? Well, all of this research is pushing us towards a completely new way of thinking about how we treat and prevent diabetes. We're talking about a future that is deeply personal, with prescriptions made just for you.
Seriously, imagine this. A world where instead of some generic, one-size-fits-all diet, you get a personalized nutrition plan based on your specific gut microbiome. We could combine all this data, your gut bacteria, your genes, your metabolic markers, and let some really smart machine learning algorithms figure out exactly which foods will keep your blood sugar stable and which ones will send it soaring. This is the very dawn of precision medicine.
And that leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. We've spent 100 years mapping the human genome. But what if the key to unlocking some of our toughest chronic diseases isn't in our own DNA at all? What if it's in the DNA of the trillions of microbes we carry around with us every single day? A map of your personal microbiome might just be the most powerful medical tool you ever have.